Hello YouTube, this is my bike check for my Diamondback Mason 1. I had to wait for it to be sunny for me to actually be able to post it. There's not a lot of videos about this bike, plus it seems to be sold out everywhere. This is a 2018 model that I got back in September. I actually changed quite a bit on it. So if you look, I swapped out the original XCR coil fork for a RockShox Recon RL. It's the gold version, so this thing weighs just under 4 pounds. It's got the motion control damper. It's got 140 millimeter of travel. It's also got a 42 offset. That seems to be the wheel offset that most manufacturers are going towards to try to bring the steering response back. I upgraded the brakes from the mechanical brakes from Tetra all the way to the Shimano SLX hydraulic brakes, and I kept the original factory 760 millimeter bars from Diamondback because they work. I changed out the slip-on non-lock-on grips to race face lock-on grips. Race face 40 millimeter stem because the factory stem was 50 or 60, I don't remember, but this will actually get the geometry closer for me to sit further back. Factory saddle totally doesn't fit for me at all. Hurts my butt when I ride for 2 hours, 4 hours. The WTB Pure has the gel coated inside, and it actually makes it quite comfortable. I have a Brand X Ascend dropper post, and this is the second version. This is the internal routed one, so you can see from here on the grommet that it's coming out from the bottom of the seat tube. It's actually got the newer updated lever also, so it doesn't have that first garbage one. So this one actually works very, very well. I don't know why this thing keeps jumping out of focus. Next thing up is I changed the square tapered bottom bracket to the Shimano Saint external bearing bottom bracket. You can see over here it's mounted to the cinch race face cinch crank set, and it's also got the narrow wide chainring. I put a 28 on there. I might actually step back up to a 30 or 32 tooth chainring. Race face Chester pedals because I like to ride flat. Race face chainstay protector. I'm still running their stock M6000 GS Deore derailleur medium cage, but I changed the rear cassette to a Sunrace 11 to 46 tooth cassette. You do not need to use the goat link on it at all. This is still running on the factory derailleur hanger, and my B adjustment screw still has a ton of space left on it, so I'm not even close to maxing out the B tension screw. That's what some people do. So I was able to do this on a stock chain, so therefore it climbs. I haven't really had to go too crazy yet where I needed the 46 tooth, but I haven't been riding in the trails. I've just been practicing, technique in the park, doing manuals, wheelies, bunny hops. And the next thing on here is I got the Maxis Recons. These tires actually work really well. They roll good. They probably got about 150 miles on them. They haven't really shown any signs of wear at all. This is converted to tubeless. These are the factory Diamondback alloy wheels at 35 millimeter internal width, and it's held up on the tubeless. All we had to do was tape up the rims where the spokes are, put in tubeless valve cores, and everything holds. Maybe in a month I have to top off 5 pounds of pressure, but this bike is good. I mean, the only thing, if I had to critique on this, is I don't know why they use the quick release axles in the rear. I mean, that's the only thing I can ding this bike on. I mean, it's got a through axle in the front. I don't know why they have to do it with this, but this is not the only company that does it. You know, the Trek Roscoe 8 does it. The Cannondale Cujo also has the 141 quick release in the rear. Eventually, when my hub burns out, if I get a new frame, then I will change the maybe to a DT Swiss rear hub with an adapter. So when I do, I can switch back and forth between either, if I decide to keep this frame or if I get a through axle rear frame, I can just put the adapters on the end of the caps and it'll be good. But this bike's pretty tough. I dropped it tons of time, crashed it tons of times. Nothing's happened to it. Awesome bike for the money. This is probably the best sub $1,000 aggressive hardtail with the 140mm fork in the front. My head tube angle actually slacked out to 67 degrees. This is confirmed with my non-scientific angle meter app on my phone. So it did slack it out a little bit. Bottom bracket height is reasonable too with all this. So with the tapered headset, or this tapered head tube on this, and the, you know, this thing is a good bike. It's a very good beginner bike that you can absolutely grow with you as you're riding. I mean, pretty much nothing on this bike is stock besides the wheel set and the drivetrain for now. But if you have any questions about this bike, feel free to hit me up on my comments section. Thanks. Bye.